Hello, hello! So you need trap tunnels updated for 2024 in Twine Peaks for the home base. Let's get those built then. We're going to start with the east direction over here, and then I'll do another video for the north direction because it will be a fairly lengthy video. And if you do find it useful, please do be sure to let me know in the comments and subscribe. So there's only one spawn location for the home base, which is just behind this ridge over here. They're going to try come down this lane and then down this main area here. So this is where we want them to come, and this is where we will be killing them. What I've done in the past is made trap tunnels up this ramp here, but it's a wide area. You have to use a lot of traps. If we build them a way up here, like this, so we start just where this ramp ends, we go all the way to the end. And then if we build them a way up, like this, they will actually come up paths like this. So we'll build a connection here just to make sure it stays connected. But the husks and smashers will actually come up half staircases like this. Now the beauty of this is we can put traps next to this, which push them off as they come up the stairs. So instead of using full wide, you know, like that wide, if we make it thinner, there's more of a chance they'll fall off because they have less of an area to walk up. And the reason we wouldn't just like ramp them up here is because smashers will charge up it, whereas this way, if they have to turn, all they can do is just charge into the wall at the back here. So that's why we're doing that. And then also, as they come up this tunnel here, we can push them down here, they have to come up the ramp, and then we'll just keep damaging them. So, we want to put a back wall here, as I said, to be able to push the husks down. And then if we do this on this part, we can put some extra damage here, which damages them as they come in. And then after they get here, we'll push them down. There's no point pushing them down here, because they're just going to land here and come straight back up. So we push them down, further down, and we can do a bit of extra damage here. And then if we put full walls all the way across the end, we can do damage on these. And then also, if we put ceilings here, we can actually put the electric field traps here, and they will, because they are a ranged attack around the radius of the trap, they will actually affect enemies here and get tripped off by enemies here, as well as the ones below. You might be tempted to put a tire trap here because it will roll down, but I feel like the electric trap is better because it affects everything that comes through the tunnel. But we'll go over traps afterwards anyway. So that's your traps for here. As we go up here, we want to add a ramp here. And then we're going to take the roof all the way across. What this is for the tire traps, for them coming through here. So you could use gas traps and put the ceiling all the way down at the bottom. That's going to be good damage. The tire traps are useful because they can actually push the husks out of the tunnel because they have impact. So it's an extra layer of, knocking them out and reusing traps, which is far better than just using gas traps. Then to the side here, we're just going to add a 2x2 area, which will stop any flingers down there from being able to aim at the home base. And you might be worried about the lava bomb, but don't worry because that's high up. I'll show you now. It cannot be affected. Anything that's this high up doesn't get affected by the lava bomb's hitbox. So we're beautiful. We are sorted there. If you are worried about the lava bomb, you can actually move it back. So if you place floors here and edit these, any further forward and you risk getting hit by the lava bomb. But if you place them here, this should push the lava bomb further over here, so there's no risk of hitting walls, structures, that sort of thing. I am getting damaged by the crack in the floor. And then we want another layer behind this, because we don't... Obviously, the husks are going to spawn there. That's a perfect example of the lava bomb being further back. The husks are going to spawn, and they're going to want to just, go straight up here, because it's the quickest method for them. So we have to make a double protection here, just to make sure they do not come through. Especially for smashers, because smashers just want to smash. They want to go up here and smash things. So we do that as an extra layer. And then we can also add extra stuff like ramps. So if we do this, the reason I'm doing it to the side and not straight forward or straight to that side is because we want to stop them from pushing in from there, but also over here, we don't want them to try break through here. So we add that there, and then we add extra layers of walls, and then over here, sorry, we want a wall there as well, actually. And then on this bit, this one will be straightforward, and then this one will be coned again. You sort of replicating the shape of the floor below, which you'll see here on this bottom bit. If I just show you, so this one is going straight forward. This one's a corner piece, like the floor, and then the same for these ones. This one, we will do like that, just to ensure, again, they don't try push through that one, and we'll put a wall there. We can put walls surrounding the cones here, and then at the back, I think it should be enough. I don't think we need walls on the back of these cones as well. Then we do just want an extra layer at the top here. This is pretty much just for smashers at this point. Nothing else is going to want to come up here at this point. It's just going to be smashers, so we just add that extra layer to ensure they don't come up here. You can experiment and get rid of it and see if smashers still come up, because we are going to build a smasher bait and switch up here. So you might be able to get away with that. Then another block off over here, that's a lava bomb, is right here. Doing it in this position means we only need 2 walls. If you did it here, you could probably get away with doing it there as 2 walls as well. But if we do it there, then we can add our ramps. The reason this is going to be angled towards that direction and not forward is because the husks could break through the first wall and then drop down here, and you risk them going in some... Oops, that's not right. You risk them going in some directions that you really don't want them to go in. So, you know, we want to avoid that. And then we'll just put some extra walls behind. I don't think we need anything extra after that, so we're just going to leave it with the walls behind. That should block everything off. But when we get to putting down the traps, we will obviously have extra mitigation for that. Now, over here, we want to just block this off. Now, you could go extra here and put, you know, that to try stop them from hitting it even more. I think I might leave it with just the cone. You could add walls as well. I don't think that's necessary, because we are going to be adding some traps onto this to stop them anyway. When it comes to this amplifier, we will sort out this area down here. But if you're just doing your home base and you can't reach that and so on, and you know, you're not building it for endurance or whatever, you probably want to just block this off like so. It just stops enemies from wanting to come down here, especially when they get pushed down into this area. They might start wanting to come up here and make their way around to the home base this way. You can block off this. You'll change this stuff when it comes to B, which I'll show in that video. But for now, you know, if you're just doing your home base and you have loads of structures left and everything like that, you can just go over the top with that if you like. But for the endurance sort of build, you know, you won't be needing this sort of stuff. It'll be covered in the B amplifier. If you are finding the video useful at this point, please do let me know in the comments, and obviously subscribe for the future trap tunnel videos, because you're going to need them for all the other locations. I've just noticed that island has some quartz on it that I need to get, because I like to get everything on the map. But also, if you do want to support me and try help my dream come true of making this a full-time thing, where I can make videos far quicker, far more often, then use my code KamiG in the item shop. But thank you so much for watching this far through, and hopefully you do find it useful and obviously use the whole thing. Now what we want to do is just add a cheeky cover here for the lobbers. This will just mean that any lobbers that try to path around to this area won't be able to throw to the storm shield. They won't try to do it from there, so we don't need any, you know, stuff here. If you're really paranoid, you could put a trap on here, you know, the anti-air trap. I'll go over that when I do traps anyway, though, but you shouldn't need that. You really shouldn't need that at all. And then obviously we've covered this area to cover the lobbers from there, and then they're not going to be able to make it over there because we've got the block offs over there. So that should do it for all the structures for the main bit, and then we'll cover the sort of smasher stuff at the end. I just realized as I'm leveling up the metal here, I forgot to show down here we want a wall here, because we're going to put wall lights on here which will knock the enemies off. And then as we go up here, if we put the same here, we can put wall lights here, which will knock them off as well with the impact. Now, for the broadside trap, we go for a crit build with 1 crit damage, 1 crit rating, a regular damage just to keep that damage up, 1 reload speed, and 1 durability. This is, a sort of all-rounder build. We want to keep that trap going for a while, or we want it to reload fast, but we want it to do a lot of damage. The anti-air trap, I haven't actually leveled this up fully yet because you don't really usually need it, but I've got 1 range on there, 4 durability, and 1 reload speed. Ceiling drop trap, so we're going for a crit build on this one as well, so we're getting physical full damage, we're getting a damage, we're getting 1 crit rating, 1 crit damage, a reload speed, and a durability. We want it to be doing it faster, we want it to be doing it longer, and we want it to be doing it harder. This is a song, apparently. Ceiling electric field, we're going for a crit build once again, you know it. We've got 2 crit rating on this bad boy, 2 crit damage, and 1 durability. So the reload speed is already quite fast on this, and generally when we use it, it's over an area, so we have quite a few of them, so we don't need too much reload speed. We just want to damage them huge amounts. So, we go for the crit build. Because it is zapping multiple enemies, those crits apply individually, so the crit build is perfect. Ceiling gas trap, so another sort of all-rounder build. So we've got 1 crit rating, 1 crit damage to make sure the crits are doing a bit more damage. We've got overall damage, 1 reload speed, and 1 durability. The perfect sort of all-round build for a trap. Floor freeze trap. So for this one, we've got 2 impact and knockback, because generally with these, we want to try and knock the enemies out of the trap tunnels and make it so they have to come back round, but we need to do it fast because obviously we're going to get a lot of enemies coming through. So we have 2 reload speed, we have a durability, and then we have an effect duration at the bottom. Floor launcher, so for this one, generally when we use it for sort of smashes, so we're just whacking all the impact and knockback on there. There's not going to be that many smashes, we don't need to reload that often, and then just a durability at the bottom because we can't have 6 impact and knockback. That would be the dream, wouldn't it? Tar pit trap, so for this one I like to go for full durability. You can sort of go for a reload time on this. The trap's sort of built around shooting it and making it go up in flames, but when I use it, it's just to slow enemies down, so I just go full durability. I want it to last absolutely forever, because that's the main thing we're using it for, is just to stop enemies and then push them, damage them, that sort of thing. Wall darts, another crit build, another all-rounder build, so we've got 1 crit rating, 1 crit damage, a general damage, 1 reload speed, and 1 durability. The wall dynamo trap, so for this one I've gone for energy because I like it to do damage to all the elements rather than just going for a nature one that's focused on water. I think it's better to have an all-rounder build, but that's up to you. And then massive crit damage on this one. This is another sort of area effect where it's zapping different enemies at different points, so it can crit sort of individually on the different enemies. So crit build is generally what you want to go for. Wall launcher, so for this one we've got 3 impact and knockback to try get those smashers to get knocked out. It is generally effective even in the top endurances, especially if you have several of these, and then 2 reload speed because obviously we don't want stuff to get through, and then a durability at the bottom. Durability is king on traps. Wall lights, so another 3 impact, 2 reload speed. We want it to do it fast, but we want it to be doing it strong. And then effect duration just means that they are stumbling a bit longer and then hopefully will get knocked out of the trap tunnels. Wall spikes here, we've gone for crit build, so 2 crit rating, 2 crit damage. But the main thing is either having max health at the bottom, or I've gone for healing the build every 10 seconds. I feel like the healing one is better than max health, although you can combine the two by having one on one side and one on the other. But I think the healing is more important because max health obviously gives it more health, but that health's eventually going to go away, whereas this one can keep the health going forever. Wooden floor spikes, so crit build on this one, that's pretty much all it's doing, is just damaging the enemies as it slows them slightly. So 2 crit rating, 2 crit damage, we want to damage them as much as we can, and then we need the durability because this does tick quite fast, even though it does have a high base durability. Alright, now that you've got everything leveled up and you're ready to put your traps on, you can put the traps on first if you want. We're going to put wall launchers here, so instead of doing something like wall spikes or, some damage, this just knocks them off the map down into the water down there, and they'll either try path their way all the way around somewhere crazy, at which point they'll probably just despawn, because when enemies can't figure out a way to get there, they just despawn. So yeah, pushing them off the edge of the map is the best bet forward there. As I mentioned when building this, we're going to put wall spikes on both sides. So obviously they're never going to try break through this side, but by having the wall spikes on both sides, you get double the effect of either healing or building health. So in this case, I go for building repair, because double the repair speed is going to be way faster than they can damage it, you know, if they ever did try to. As we come through here, we're going to want floor spike. Oop, that's not the right. Put it on level 1. Where's my floor spikes at? I did not have any 130 wall spikes ready. Okay, there we go. So I'm putting on both of these two because as they come into the trap tunnel, this is where we want to do the most amount of damage, because this is the part where most husks are going to keep, you know, coming up and recycling. So if we use the floor spikes here twice, we're doing massive damage on them twice. And then when we get over here, we can use the floor freeze trap. So if I grab that, if we place it this way, all the way down, over here, it doesn't really matter what we want to do with that. We'll probably place it this way. But effectively, this sort of canister here, which way you place it, I guess where you're facing when you place it, they're going to push it backwards. So as we place it facing this way, when the husks come in, they're going to be pushed this way and they'll get knocked out. Same with this one, but then over here, obviously they can't get knocked out apart from that little bit there, but that's not going to happen. So we'll push them back and then hopefully they'll get attacked by more of the traps. Over here, for the first two, we're not going to be able to push them out because we have these two here, which let's just go ahead and put the traps on here as well. We're going to put wall dynamos on because that's just going to do massive damage to those coming up. And then on this side, we'll probably go with wall darts if I can get to them. There we are. Because, again, we're not going to be able to push them out. We might as well do damage. I love broadside traps, but in this situation, the cannons are not going to ping back and forward as much as we'd like because there's this gap here. They're just going to sort of bounce down here, and it's not going to be as effective as it could be. And then at the other side, we will also do wall darts. I can't place it from up here, which is annoying. Can I do it here? There we go. Wall darts on these as well. There we go. And then again, as I said, for these, we're going to put the zappy boys over here. I actually had some 144 from someone in a mission that gave me, so I'm using those because why not? Then over here, as I said, we want the wall launchers because these are going to launch them down. Then when we get to here, obviously a wall launcher is not really going to do much here because, I mean, it could try push out this little gap, but it's not really going to do what we'd want it to do. So for this one, it's up to you what you want to do. You could use a wall dynamo, you could use wall darts. I think I'm going to go for wall darts just because it has large damage. And as they're walking up this bit, it should still damage them up to here. So I'm going to put wall darts there. And then here we want another wall launcher. This will attempt to send any that freeze here back through the tunnel to damage them once again. As we come up here, it's only going to be smashers at this point that make it this far. We're going to use the wall lights to stun the smashers and push them back. They will fall off, and then they'll have to go all the way back round again, which is just beautiful stuff. And then we'll do the same here. Again, going to push them down. And if they make it to this point, don't worry, we will cover the build we do here to sort of bait and switch the smashers. But we still have some traps to put down. So we've got tire traps that we want to put down on this thing. So, similar to... I've got 144 as well. Similar to the ice traps on the floor, the canister is going to determine which way the trap pushes the enemies back, as well as just which direction you're facing when you place it. So if I'm facing this way when I place it, the enemies are going to get pushed back that way. So for the first one, we want to push them back, so I'm going to put it that way. For the second one, we still want to push them back, so I'm going to put it there. Then when we get to here, obviously we want to push them out here. So this is backwards. I'm going to place it facing this way, and we do that up here, and then at the end one, I'm going to place it this way. This last one's not as important because they're going to sort of cut this corner, but it still might, cover the area and push them back to this one, which will then give a chance for this one to push them back out here. So that's the traps for the main trap tunnels, and I think that covers all of the ones that are placed down. apart from down here. So, wow, that nearly killed me. I forget how much damage that does. You don't need traps on here, I don't think. You could put the wall spikes if you wanted. I'm going to go without, and I'll report back if I get absolutely smashed, but I really don't think you need anything on those, because they are just going to want to go up this, route of easiest method for them. So that covers the traps for this main area. As promised, we're going to do the bait and switch for the smashers. So basically, to explain how this works, Smasher's main objective is obviously to smash. So the code of the AI is pretty stupid in a sense that, the devs, I guess, think you're going to build around the base, just building walls around it. And so the smashers are basically just going to sense any builds that either block the husks from getting to the main base or just detect any, structures that are near the main objective, whether it is the home base or an amplifier. So what we can do is we can just sort of build structures around the top of the base, which isn't actually connected to the floor here, and the smashers will see it as something that they need to smash, and we can use that to lure them around a different direction, and basically just loop them round, keep knocking them off, keep slightly damaging them, and it just keeps them busy. It's basically just a way to waste their time. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to bring them up across a bridge up here, which we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, just to the side of the center of this, and then we'll bring it forward to here, and we'll do a little more fancy stuff over there. I'll show that in a second. But as they come across, as the smashers come across this, we can knock them down. So if we do this here, this is all we should need, because there's not going to be that many smashers. But the reason for this is if it was like this, they could walk in the center. Whereas if we do this, we're forcing them to walk in this shallow bit, this really thin sort of corridor. And then when they get impacted by the wall lights, they're going to fall down. If they were sort of here, they'd just sort of stumble to here. So that's the reason for doing that. And then obviously we need the walls for the traps to go on. Now, you might want to reinforce this, because obviously at that point, the only thing keeping this up was this floor. And if they break that floor, you're screwed. So we're going to put this wall here. You could also connect it, I don't know, a bit further down, but I think that one wall should be enough. Then once we've brought them all the way over here towards the actual amplifier or home base in this case, what we need to do is we need to connect it across the home base, because obviously it needs to be, the AI needs to think that this is something that's, protecting it from husks. So the AI is stupid and doesn't realize that this isn't actually, protecting the build at all. But we're not finished there. We do also need these bridges round. Do not ask me how I know this works, or that how anyone knows this works. This is just one of those weird coding AI things with the enemy AI that just doesn't really make too much sense. But if you think about it a little bit, it's like, oh, they just did it, to try cover all cases. So if we build the base in this way, now the smashers think this is something that's, really protecting the base, even though it's not touching the ground. Like, they're stupid. They're so stupid. But they will try go up to break that structure up there, so they're going to go all the way up here, all the way around here, and across, and they're going to try, break all this stuff. Now, they're never going to make it this far, because we obviously have the light traps here. Now, if you're really, really paranoid, you could do an extra one here, or, 2 here, but you're going to get so few smashers that I really don't think you need it, and you've got 2 light traps. It'll be enough impact to knock them off. So we'll just go ahead and level all this stuff up and then put the traps on again. As we see the last few pieces, reinforcing the metal. No, I'm not going to do the whole thing, David Amber. So now that we've got it level 3, I mean, you don't need to do that before you place the traps, obviously. We're going to put walls, these are floor spikes, hello? Floor spikes on this spot here, just to do a little bit of damage each time the smasher comes up to try finish him off. But the main thing you're going to need, and you don't really need the spikes, but the main thing is the wall light traps here. So as I say, the smashers are going to come through this little thin bit. They'll get hit by these, get knocked off, and then they'll come all the way back round. They'll never make it to this bit over here. Like, once I've finished all the amplifiers and everything, I'll do an endurance, AFK for the most part, video to prove that these work. And in that, I can show the smashers like never making it to this point. They're just going to keep coming back up here and getting knocked off. It's such a beautiful, beautiful little mess up in the mechanic of the smasher, and I love this sort of thing with games like this, where there's these little niches in the AI that you can take advantage of. But yeah, that'll finish it for the East build. So hopefully you enjoyed and did make it all the way through to this point. If you did, that means you're a true Save the World hardcore fan and you want that endurance banner. Obviously you should subscribe at this point, because there are going to be future videos. I'm obviously going to be doing the North direction and all the other amplifiers updated for 2024 tricks with trap tunnels to make an AFK endurance build. Let me know down in the comments if you did enjoy, if you have any, feedback on the way I present things. I try to keep it sort of light and entertaining with the way I talk about things. So I'd love that sort of feedback. And please, if you have made it this far as well, please use my code CAMIG in the item shop. It helps support me. I have a full-time job at the moment. I can't live off YouTube. And this isn't a sob story. This is just, I'd love to do this thing full time and get more videos out. At the moment, these videos are going to be quite slow because, as I say, I work like 9 till 5. I don't have all the time in the world to be able to make these videos. So if you made it through that entire message without clicking off, I appreciate you so much. I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching, and check out the other videos. See you later.